Welcome everybody back to your coverage of the ESWC. We have Na'Vi versus Next coming up now. We've changed up our roster of games we were going to do, basically because circumstances bring us that way. 4GL been playing some amazing Dota. They just recently took, spoiler alert, the last game off Na'Vi. So Na'Vi actually having a loss on their record. No one really was actually expecting 4GL to actually take that one. I'm actually just checking the table right now, and Next and Na'Vi are locked in place with Orange Esports. Now, the difference between the Next and Na'Vi and Orange is the fact that Next and Na'Vi actually haven't played 4 games yet. Orange Esports currently already with 4 games under the belt. 1-2, lost 2, where both the teams have actually won 2 and lost 1, which does mean the winner of this will jump up into the second spot and see if they can actually hold it going into the last round of today. Only the top 2 actually go through, and of course 2 is the best number in the world. I'm number 1 and number 2. Well, technically he'll actually say he's number 1. I'm his number 2. Syndrome Man, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much. As always, a new introduction every time, man. I wonder if you're ever going to run out of them, but it's lovely, it's refreshing, and yeah, hopefully this is going to be refreshing as well. I actually think these teams have faced off before, I think. Was it at the Asus tournament, I believe?
Yeah, it was the semi-final of the... Semi-final of the Asus tournament, I think it was? Or was it actually their grand final?
I think it was the grand final, actually. So we'll see if NextKz can bring something to the table. If I'm not mistaken,
yes.
I think...
that was that Huskar game. That Huskar game.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Na'Vi kind of tore them apart in that series. So we'll see. This is a new platform. It's Dota 2. It's a different hero pool. The teams have had time to practice. NextKz, as you said, this is actually... kind of the battle for the second place of the group, as we know, 4GL defeated Na'Vi beforehand. We cast that match, a great game indeed, and yeah, well, these guys are going to have to bring the best they have to actually fight to get that second place and advance from the group stage. Of course, only 2 teams advance from the group stage, and well, you've got to say it would be a disappointment if Na'Vi don't advance. They're like one of the biggest favorites, of course, because of their first place in the international. There's a lot of pressure on them. And, well, 4GL were not affected by that in the last game, you've got to say. They did a magnificent job at taking down Na'Vi. And now it's NextKz's time to see if they can pull off the same feat. It's going to be hard, though. It's going to be really hard. Yeah,
it's like Na'Vi are an awesome team. 4GL were just playing very, very well. That's the only thing it really comes down to of who was the better team during that match. And it was 4GL. Na'Vi, they went with their strat, and their strat kind of expired once Void got too big. And now the whole thing is, do we just ban Void every single time? But then you'd say, do we just ban Anti-Mage? Do we just ban Chen? All these heroes start missing, and we start just going back into this old metagame of the International. It's actually really interesting to actually see how these guys have actually changed up. Obviously, there's new heroes coming in. We actually haven't seen them. Juggernauts, I believe, is actually available in the Captain's mode for this. It's not the same Captain's mode as the International. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I know Broodmother, SK, as well as Queen of Pain aren't available for this tournament, though, even though they're added in the recent patch.
Yeah, that's very true, and of course the SK you're talking about is actually SKK, Skeleton King. Sand King is available, who we usually refer to as SK. Oh well, both are called SK, just to clear up confusion. Skeleton King is not available. Queen of Pain and Broodmother, same applies to them, but I think, as you say, every other hero in the pool should actually be available, which includes Juggernaut as well as Stealth Assassin and Conquer. Yeah. I think all of those, they should be available in the Captain's Mode pool. But I don't know, I haven't seen all of the games of this tournament, and obviously haven't been casting all of the games you've been casting, but
I have not seen a single one of those heroes picked up.
I don't think we've seen them at all, have we?
No. But the problem when you actually pick up Stealth Assassin, then you instantly just know Slatter's going to be picked up, so he's not really like, oh, well, great, that's like unstoppable kind of guy. So it's fair enough that he actually doesn't appear. And, well, Conquer never really found a place in the current metagame. I'm actually really laughing my ass off right now that Chen just got picked up by the Radiant and not up by the Dire. But Chen is now in the mix. But they left Night Stalker at... There we go, Night Stalker comes in. And they also pick up Windrunner. So Na'Vi will not care that Chen is actually picked up. They will just basically have a field day with Night Stalker on the field. And that wasn't a pun intended. That was actually just me saying field too many times.
Yeah. One too many. It wasn't that bad, Toby. Anyway.
It could be worse. And it will be. It will be.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get worse, don't worry boys and girls, it's gonna be a lot worse when this game actually gets going. We're gonna repeat some stuff a lot of times. No, of course not. We're staying on topic, and it's gonna be, as you said, Balinar, the Night Stalker, as well as the Windrunner. Night Stalker, a hero you just didn't want to give to Na'Vi at the International. I think 1 or 2 teams let them have it. After that, it was a ban against them every single game, I believe. So this is a hero Na'Vi know how to play. Obviously, they don't have the big Captain art style for them to play that hero, who was probably one of the MVPs of that tournament, playing as those very powerful tankish strength heroes. He played the Night Stalker, he played Slaughter, he played, what was it? He played Viper as a tank as well. And he had a 4th one as well. Pudge was what he played in that tournament as well. So he played those heroes. They don't have him to play them, but I think actually Ars Art, if I'm not mistaken, plays a pretty good Night Stalker as well. I think he's played it for them in another tournament. So Na'Vi have got this under control. And Toby's happy because they get profit. And Potom and Doom, well, Potom, of course, I'm talking about Mirana. Yeah, you keep doing that interesting facepalm right there, as Mirana as well as Doombringer have been picked up by the Radiant. So right now they've got some sort of a brute force lineup with Chen and Doom, like powerful. They could just go in with all the creeps, as well as Doom with that Scorched Earth beneath him, just gonna run in, deal a lot of damage and tank up quite a bit. Potom hanging on the back of that. Oh well, Mirana again. The names. For some pretty good synergy there, like you just gotta say, man, these are heroes you usually don't want to give to Na'Vi. So I wonder if NextKz have some sort of a pocket strat here, pocket strategy consisting of 5 heroes that they want. They were very quick at picking, I have to say. So they might know exactly what I've actually. Okay, they have actually used some bonus time, so maybe not as quick as I'm telling they are. The Chen was very fast, but the other ones, well. But on the other side, man, Prophet as well as Night Stalker, you don't want to give Na'Vi those heroes.
I know, and when I see that, I'm just like, oh my freaking god. Like, it's fair enough banning an Ancient Apparition as well as Anti-Mage. They would have instantly been picked up, and then Chen being your first pick was slightly random. Like, that was, like, if they didn't pick it, it would have been picked up by Na'Vi. Puppy is renowned for playing Chen, and then they would have to deal with push whenever they wanted to, a global heal on top of it, and also having to deal with the fact that he always pulls out the right hero at the right time during a fight, and you always get denied because of it. And then they pick up Mirana as well, taking away 2 heroes, which Na'Vi are well known for actually playing. We're talking about Puppy's main hero, and we're talking about Havorst's main hero as well. He played 1 game where he didn't play Mirana during the International. 1 game. And I actually don't even remember what he played because it was not important in the end because the game must have gone that fast. But Doombringer coming up as well. Like, they've got tank ability, they've got a little bit of push, they've got some damage as well. So the Radiant aren't really crippled with their lineup, but they've got so much power. There's gank ability through Na'Vi, and there's push power. The 2 things which summarize what Na'Vi represent are in 2 of their heroes, and they've got a good side lane hero already. They got 1 big high carry left to pick up and 1 support hero. Who is going to play what? I'm actually more interested in right now, Sin. Do we actually see Havorst grab the Windrunner? Do we see Dendy play the Night Stalker? Do we see Puppy play the Prophet? Or does Arsart pick up the Prophet? How is this all going to actually work in together?
Well, it all depends on what they pick up as the 2 last ones. That's going to kind of seal the deal as to which roles these heroes will actually be playing in the lineup. Right now I'm going to call that Puff Daddy will be playing the Furion, no, the Prophet. No, that's going to be Puppy Prophet. I'm expecting that one to come off. I think I'm still going to place my bet on Arsart playing the Night Stalker and the Windrunner. As you say, Light of Heaven played it the last time. We could see Havorst playing it this time. It's a little... It's a 50-50 again, depends on how they want to lane it. And yeah, on the other side, let's see, we've probably got Ronin. We'll probably be playing the Potom, or the Mirana, or the Doombringer over there. He's generally a carry kind of player. I think Equal plays a actually very good Chen, if I'm correct on that. So he's probably going to pick up that one, or Lucky. And yeah, the other one of those 2 will probably take the Shaker. And I think Mantis is some sort of a semi-carry player as well, so he might be taking the Potom with Ronin on the Doom. That wouldn't surprise me at least, but we're going to see what comes off. As for Na'Vi, yeah, this is going to be my best bet so far. I'm going to say that Puppey, Arsart, as well as Light of Heaven have had their heroes now.
Yeah, Drow Ranger. Well, that kind of answers what Havorst will be playing.
Yeah, that it does.
And Shadow Shaman, actually, very, very quick pickup there by Next. Like, the second Drow came out, it's like, screw it, we need Shadow Shaman. So maybe we're going to see some early pushing. And I'm thinking about lanes for this. Obviously, Na'Vi would love if Night Stalker went up against Doombringer. More than likely not in the middle lane, though. I'm actually probably going to actually have a bet that Night Stalker is actually going to be up on that top lane with the Doombringer. I'm just having a bet on that. Because what are the lane? How are you going to run melee? Where can they actually make that happen? Or do we see Havorst go up towards the top lane and we see Night Stalker go down towards the bottom lane with extra support? How does this actually play and Windrunner solo mid?
I am Lion.
Yeah, this...
The laning of this is... Yeah. I'm going to have a gamble right now and go Prophet neutral, Drow Ranger solo top, Lion, Windrunner, Night Stalker,
Trilaning bottom and nobody mid. Yes!
Yeah, no, Windrunner mid and then Lion and Night Stalker bottom. Lion and Night Stalker bottom. Because she's still got a Hex as well as a stun in that. I'm going to go with that for Na'Vi. What do you think is going to happen with the Radiant at least?
This is actually a very, very hard call to make. I think that the Radiant will... I think they're interested in having Rasta, the Shadow Shaman, played solo. They want him to get levels quickly. They want the Rasta...
They're going to run him mid if they're going to do that then.
Yeah, or Doom mid and then Shadow Shaman bottom with Gen support, and then Shaker bottom top is an option that they've got. Oh, well, Mirana. Pardon me, guys. If you're watching Dota 2 for the first time and haven't really been involved in Dota, the heroes in Dota, right now, it's not implemented in Dota 2, but the heroes kind of have two names. They have a name and a title. And, well, Mirana...
He will forever actually be calling Night Stalker Balinar during this time. I just want to point that one out.
Night Stalker, I usually refer to as Balinar, which is his name in Dota 1. The other ones I will often be calling their other names will be the Mirana, which is a priestess of the moon in Dota 1, so we refer to that as Potom. P-O-T-M, obviously. And then we have the Shadow Shaman, who's called Rasta. So if I say those names, don't be confused. These are the actual heroes of the game, and I'm not tripping off of some green stuff. And finally, Prophet is called Furion in Dota 1. He'll have another name in Dota 2. I actually think Priestess of the Moon will also be called something different in order to stay friendly with Blizzard, who actually have those as copyrights in their Warcraft 3 engine. Of course, the Priestess of the Moon is a hero there. Furion is a unique character from the campaign there as well. So, of course, these companies don't want to get at each other's throats, so they respect each other's property. And because of that, Dota 2 will have some heroes renamed in one way or the other. But yeah, that's a short introduction.
Prophet will actually be renamed to Tobi1 Crit. That will be his new name.
That will be the day I quit Dota 2 for real.
It's actually Light of Heaven playing Nature's Prophet. We actually run through who's actually playing what. Puppey is going to go Lion, so he's actually going to stay in support role. Arsart, as you predicted, is going to go that Night Stalker. Dendy is going to run the Windrunner. Havorst playing as Drow Ranger as the big heart carry at the end. And Light of Heaven playing as the Nature's Prophet. Not exactly what I was expecting. It was fair enough. Like, I actually thought, like, maybe Arsart obviously wanted to play Night Stalker, and Dendy and Havorst kind of, like, go into those roles perfectly. But Light of Heaven and Puppey, I thought there might have been a trade-off for that.
I'm still thinking about these lanes, man. There are some options, and yeah, it is going to be Light of Heaven playing on that Prophet. So Puppey will take the Lion. Yeah, when that Lion pick came up, it was actually kind of obvious that they were going to swap that one around. I wasn't in time to call that. So yeah. Anyway, as for lanes, yeah, you've pointed out nicely. The Prophet, there are some options here. What I could see Na'Vi doing was putting the Prophet on the off lane, try to get him in fast level 2 or level 3, and then teleport him around to gang. The problem is, though, how are they going to lane the rest? They're going to have to put a Drow Ranger solo mid then, and then Balinar, the Night Stalker, on the trial lane with a Lion and Windrunner. But it's just not going to happen when Dendy plays the Windrunner. That's like the official seal of solo mid. So the question is, we're going to see Night Stalker Drow Lion?
No. It was them going up there for a kill early on in the piece. Dendy will be running solo bot. He's actually running up towards the top lane right now to help out.
Yeah.
And he's got boots early on, so he will definitely be solo bottom lane. Those boots helping him try and escape out whenever he's going to get ganked. Top lane will actually be Light of Heaven in the neutrals. Weird enough, though, Light of Heaven, is actually walking around inside the neutrals, and it's Prophet who's actually given more consumables. I'm guessing it's to the bottom lane at this point, so Dendy could actually buy up boots. Those consumables are actually coming from the Prophet's money, and Miranda, she'd run up towards the top lane. Don't know if she actually spotted out Na'Vi. Na'Vi see her. Frost Arrow, they need to hit one of them. There goes one Frost Arrow. Will Niceor get close enough for a slow? No, he will not. And the support is there by ES as well if Miranda gets in over his head. So Niceor will be running solo mid. Light of Heaven inside the neutrals. It's always a harder way of actually doing this. That's why he's going to have help from Puppy. So they're going to be dueling up the neutrals. So it's really weird that Light of Heaven is actually outside the main base, because most of the time you actually create some trees from inside the base and then regen and send the trees out with yourself.
Yeah, he was probably out quickly there to try to spot the first blood. He didn't want to skill the treants yet. If they got a first blood attempt, he was willing to skill the sprout for it probably. So that's why he can't have treants out yet. He has skilled the treants now though, the force of nature, and we'll be using that to farm up the forest quickly for some levels. There you got what you wanted to see. The treants are being sent out, and yeah, around the middle lane, it's actually Puppy seems like he can't really make up his mind about where he's actually going to lane that Lion. Maybe he's a little bit half mid, half bottom, wherever needs help. But actually, Dendy Windrunner, of course, well, they're going to put the Windrunner off lane in this lineup. That's what they have to do. But Na'Vi generally like to utilize Dendy as being a very powerful solo mid player. And I wonder if it's going to limit them to put him on an off lane in which he might not have a good time.
Well, he's going up against Doombringer, so as far as like range and harassment goes, he's got everything he needs to hold Doom off that creep wave. And also to help him get those last hits. Puppy actually ends up going in towards the middle lane to try and stop the Shadow Shaman being too much on Night Stalker. Because Night Stalker is really, he needs that babysitting. He needs that babysitting very early on the piece, especially when he just tanks the tower and that goes down to half HP. That is not the kind of like situation he wants to be in. And then you got Mirana on the top lane, and Light of Heaven not going neutrals in this one. He's staying on lane with Havorst to try and, well, make sure Havorst doesn't get ganked, doesn't actually get completely wiped on that top lane, which is a distinct possibility when Earthshaker is there.
Yeah, obviously, if Prophet isn't available there, they can play super aggressive on Havorst, but just the presence of Prophet, wow, those are many P words, prevents them from actually opening up, because Prophet is just going to hit them back hard. He's got a great attack animation, high damage.
Oh, starts in trouble in the mid. Prophet's going to TP in. The stun goes. One from ES, one as well from Lion. Lion's going to be the first one. It's the shock that gets the kill. Light of Heaven's running down south after that. But Lion going down in the mid. If Earthshaker wasn't there, that could have been a little bit different. But Arstar really got on the edge of his life points.
Double damage.
And Prophet, he TP'd in, but that was basically it after that. He had no sprout. He actually skilled TP, so he could come to actually be part of that. But couldn't hold anybody in place.
And that's why you usually want your Prophet to hit level 3 before he really gets active. You want to have 1 point in each spell. Usually skill the Force of Nature first in order to farm up the forest for those levels, like you see he's going to do now. And then, of course, teleporting in to use that Sprout for ganks and for defensive play as well is absolutely amazing to have. But yeah, while that's not available, that is going to give NextKz the first blood.
It does, and of course, NextKz getting the first blood on that Shadow Shaman, which is going to help his farm up early in the piece, not to mention his levels. Already level 4 with 3 minutes into the game, so we'll be looking to actually get those wards up very, very early, and at that point, killing off Night Stalker actually probably won't be that hard, considering you've got yourself a stun, you've got yourself a Hex, and if you can hold him in range of those wards during that point, focus the wards on the Night Stalker. Even at night, the Night Stalker can't deal with that.
It's going to deal a lot of damage with those Mars Serpent wards indeed, but I think NextKz will try to utilize them to take down towers rather than actually to gang with them. It's really important against a team like Na'Vi, and yeah, I can say that now, well, I actually can't say that now that 4GL came back from a 6-tower disadvantage against them, but that's a very, very rare comeback that we saw 4GL make. But it's not going to happen in this game, because this time Na'Vi have strong late game as well, so they can't really afford getting behind on towers. Na'Vi is going to press their advantage then and hold them in place, but Chen, as well as Shadow Shaman, should really be able to take some towers with those creeps and wards, so that's what NextKz are aiming for.
Depends when they actually have the ton of push though, like if Windrunner's in the right place, you can demolish off the majority of a creep wave, and then you can really focus and actually farm up those wards, because they are worth money as well. I think a lot of it's going to come down to when they actually push, the timing of their push, and just what from Na'Vi is in place, because Prophet's going to be there. guarantee you when that push comes on the towers, Prophet will be there. He can create an army out of nothing but trees. Obviously, that's why he is the Prophet. He is the tender of trees. So it's going to be really, really hard when they do actually try and push. But I'm just wondering how many resources Na'Vi actually commit to that and when the timing comes. Because in my mind, Next won't push until the next day cycle. Arrows flying in towards the mid lane. Looks like they're looking for a bit of initiation. And it's going to be really careful here for Mirana. If Puppy landed one stun there, and the only reason why he didn't is because it was on cooldown. That could have actually been a very, very easy blow for Mirana, and that means Drow Rangers left alone. So Prophet farming up neutrals, and Drow Rangers getting free farm on the top lane.
Very surprised actually to see Light of Heaven skilling Force of Nature level 2 on level 3. I thought he was going to go for that Sprout to be able to be more present, which corresponds much more to Na'Vi's general way of playing. But seems like they're focusing a little bit more on farming up here for starters, and then the ganking will probably come eventually, probably focusing on doing that during the night time when Balana's up and gets that Hunter in the night going. That's probably the time for Furion to strike as well. Of course, the Prophet. There you go. There are the names again.
It's a language, man. It's a language. It's like when I was casting Heroes of New Earth, the DreamHack. Like, you should have actually heard the kind of like conflict I was having in my brain. It's like speaking completely different language, trying to use different game terms. But luckily, it's not that bad for Dota for us because it's only a couple of things which change. It's not Sentinel or Scourge. It's Radiant and Dire. In the meantime, though, we'll actually check out our CS scores. That's one thing I haven't brought up just yet. Because I actually want to really check out the Doombringer versus Windrunner battle. These guys haven't actually left their lane at all. So at this point, I'm looking at Doombringer at 21 for 3. And we're actually watching Windrunner at 25 for 14. So such a large amount of denies.
Haste.
Dropping that XP of that Doombringer. Even just check out what's our difference in gold. Pretty even. Like 250 or 300 gold advantage in favor of the Radiant. That is next to nothing at this point, and we just hit the first night cycle as well.
And that gold advantage is what you get from Doom. Basically, Devour, that gives you that extra gold from creeps. If you discount that, I think Na'Vi are actually ahead, and they also have the first blood. So Na'Vi probably farming quite a lot better, actually. And now the nighttime is hit indeed, as you say. And that's something, well, this nighttime is going to last for a long, long time, and I'm expecting Arsart to really get out and get something done. I guess he's level 5 at this point, am I right? Or maybe only level 4 still?
He's level 5, but I'm not understanding the Mirana. Maybe you can explain to me, like, it's fair enough they're looking for a gank, and actually it looks like they're going to look for a push too. Chen's come in towards the middle lane. He doesn't have the support. Generally, like, Chen will gank with a Vengeful Spirit or something like that to help him up. But Earthshaker at this point is still running in towards that mid area, and Prophet can TP in a moment. I said Prophet actually doesn't have enough mana for a... actually, no, he just does. Enough mana for a TP and Sprout combo. If he sets off another set of trees, he can't come in, but you'll notice there's 4 heroes from Next in that middle lane. Here's your push you're waiting for. Rasta is level 6, so the wards will now drop. They will attack the tower. Puppy with an initial stun, slowing down the Chen creep wave there. Fortification will buy them some time. Next creep wave's about to come in. Shaker Steel's just hanging on the edge of this. Drow Rangers still getting farm, and even though the tier 1 tower's going to go down, Arrow's going to miss. There's still some silence. They don't want to fight within those wards. And in the end, Na'Vi will just concede the tier 1 tower on mid, but it still gives time for Horvos to farm on top, and Denny to basically still keep controlling that bottom lane.
And that's very true, but it's also important for Next. I think this is what they had to do. All right, they give some free farm to the Drow Ranger, but they limit the middle lane. And they've got to take these towers early on while they still can, because, well, time is... I think the clock is ticking for them, especially when Potom isn't farming up a lot. She's not going to be terrifying in the mid-game, in contrast to this Windrunner as well as Drow Ranger, who are farming great on both lanes. So the tower pushing definitely has to get going, but so far so good for Next. They have 0 deaths at 8 minutes against a Prophet and a Night Stalker. That's not common.
Definitely not, especially when we're about halfway through the night time. You could see Arsart just hanging there, like he was almost twitching. It's like a cat after a pigeon there in the middle lane. It's like, I can gank him, I can gank him, I can gank him. Wards. I'm kind of scared of wards. I don't want to go into wards. So yeah, in the end he just decided not to do that. Also interesting to actually see Arsart leveling up the darkness. He actually goes his ultimate at level 6. We're noticing from a couple of teams already this competition, they actually completely ignore the ultimate. I don't know about your opinions on... Oh, hang on. Hang on. What is Next doing? There's going to be a top push. Next set of wards are up in 9 seconds, but they want to see if they can kill Horvos off. Horvos already moving back. Fissure just short. Puppy is here. Starfall to destroy the wave, and next we'll actually see if they can claim this tier 1 tower on top. Na'Vi, they're already rallying support. Arsart's here. Prophet's actually still inside the trees right now. He's not level 6 just yet, so there's no ultimate to help them with this. And next actually going to go looking for Prophet. They're going to find Arsart though. Arsart finds them first and then runs back. It's better Arsart found than they're actually finding Prophet. He's still not level 6 yet. He's going to need that to hold this creep wave off. Everybody's up on top, 4 on 4. Chen creep wave is still here. It's being pushed back bit by bit. Hearing nothing but Ether Shock, Kavor's not wanting to go for it. I don't know if next they're actually going to still attempt this, and
I think they're waiting. I think they've got the Shadow Shaman wards ready now. So if they find some sort of opening to get in, they're definitely going to have a go at it. I think Chen's hit level 6 as well for that Hand of God. No, he hasn't actually. He's still level 5.
Just short.
So they're going to need that, I think, to push straight on against 5 like this. I don't think it's going to work out. Oh well, 4 on 4. We've still got Ronin facing off against Dendi in the very quiet bottom lane, which they're just farming up nicely. But just to finish off, I guess the push is not going straight away. Just to follow up on that track of Balinar, you were talking about the Night Stalker. I don't agree with this skill build. I don't agree with any of the skill build they've run in this tournament. I mean, of course, it's case dependent what you go for. But this is not how I usually build him. I get Darkness on level 6. I think it's amazing, and you use it immediately to extend the night, so you have a longer nighttime, and now the push is actually going on my screen as well. I guess they've just taken it down on yours. Doesn't look like Na'Vi are going to put up a fight. But yeah, usually I'd go for Crippling Fear actually on level 2, because what's the point in skilling Hunter in the night when you're level 2, when there's like 5 minutes until the nighttime actually starts? It's a worthless skill. At least Crippling Fear can do something during the daytime if it actually becomes relevant. It's better having that than nothing. And then
bottom lane, Arsart's going to go. They're looking for some revenge. Power Shot's going to help out. Prophet TP's in. They need a Sprout. There's no Sprout, but it doesn't matter. He pops the ultimate to Prophet, and that takes the remainder of Doom's life. So gank on the bottom lane for Doombringer, really going back past that tower, but the Invis Rune set that one up from Night Stalker. And he gets 2 Urn Charges, and they're going to claim the tier 1 tower on bot.
But that right there is an example of why Crippling Fear would have been great to have, and now he does indeed skill it on level 8. But having that Crippling Fear there, he could have initiated with the Crippling Fear to prevent Doom from using that Scorched Earth, which healed him a lot and gave him movement speed as well. And if you compare that silence, you would have had a 5-second silence in contrast to the little bit of attack and movement speed he gets from that extra level of Hunter in the night. To me, it's a no-brainer. But I see all the Balinars we've actually seen in this tournament don't go for Crippling Fear early on. They get the other spells quite a way up first, at least. But I've got to say, I agree a lot more with this Night Stalker build than the other one we've seen from eHome, who went for 4-0-4-0 as his skill build, like getting 4 in Void and 4 in Hunter of the Night. No Darkness, no Crippling Fear.
Then he's going to TP out. They don't find him. They're going to get past there, and actually, I don't think they actually saw that TP animation by the time they got there, but there were 3 heroes by Next all around Dendi, and Prophet was actually as Arsart running back up the bottom lane. I always just love how Na'Vi will always just push the envelope, just that little bit more of how long they should actually be there. And of course, going to take the top tower as well. And with that, he'll actually get, well, pretty close to level 11.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, that Draw Ranger is getting a lot of space. We'll probably go for a Yasha and the usual Manta-style build that we see Draw Rangers do. And if he's going to keep farming like this, next they're going to have to get a really good trade for this. But Na'Vi are doing the completely right thing here. Alright, they're pushing 5 on bottom. We take 2 towers, we take mid, we take top. We keep pressure on the other lanes. And, well, NextKz, they will get this tier 1 tower, but question is if it's worth the trade.
They should be able to get a tier 2 as well. Those wards are up from Shadow Shaman, and they're not going to stop. So they're actually losing, though. They're losing their tier 2 on top. They're losing their tier 2 on mid. In fact, they've already lost their tier 2 on mid. That's the power of Prophet, man. And now they just sit back, and Dendi is the only one standing guard. They have to wait for their creep wave, which has only now just arrived. But they've already taken the damage. And they can't get an arrow on Dendi. The range is just too long. He's got too long to actually see it coming up. And they're going to claim a tier 2 tower, but they just lost 3 towers in the space of, what, how many minutes? 1?
Yeah, 1 minute. So yeah, that is the power of Prophet, and it is the power of the way Na'Vi use Prophet. It's I guess I'll have to say it's one of their best heroes, if not top 3, in how well they use it in relation to its potential. just get so much out of this hero, and that's why I insist that you don't give this hero to Na'Vi unless you really know what you're doing.
He's going to come in. Will he get the courier? Will he go for the courier? No, he's going to go for Chen. I was wondering if he's actually going to see if he can pick off the courier. It's only got TP scroll. Now Prophet's going to come in to give a bit of a hand. They can't really decide what they want. Arsart's going to take Chen, and Prophet's going to take Mantis. Support is here from Puppey, so the sun goes. Chen goes down the back end of play. And there's the Mantis kill they really need to get. Stick charges keep him alive for the moment. Prophet ultimate. He has no mana for it. They can't kill him. Shadow Shaman escapes on 35 HP. In the meantime, too, Dro Ranger actually dies on the top lane. It's like Doom and Miranda are actually teamed up together to actually get that counter kill. So actually still stays at 2-2. It stays at 2-2, but the tower advantage all the way Na'Vi's way.
It's funny to see again how low kill count we've actually got. We've got 4 kills in 15 minutes. But we've taken how many towers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 towers at 15 minutes in total. 5 taken by Na'Vi and 3 taken by NextKz. And NextKz were actually the ones who kind of picked that Chen early on, as well as the Shadow Shaman, to get the pushing done. But they have got just the same amount, oh well, not the same amount, they've got even more pushing taken to them. And they are the ones at a deficit in map control right now. If you see the warding as well, Na'Vi have got 3 aggressive wards out in the enemy forest. I think Next don't even have a single ward out.
I'm actually just checking right now, but yeah, there's not a single ward. They're all in favor of the Dire. I also just want to point out what Arsart just did then. He dropped items. It's such a Warcraft 3 thing to actually do, to drop an item, so he can actually buy one and then put it back into his infantry to combine it. Dota 2 will actually automatically combine that for you, even if your item slots are full and you're buying from the secret shop. If you buy the items, you have about 5 seconds after you buy that item to actually buy the second item, which will actually combine with it. Saves you a crap load of time when you're actually doing things like that and you don't risk your items. Just thought I'd point that one out. The tutorial from Dota.
The wonders of Dota 2. Yeah, 2-2 still the score, man. We're 16 minutes in. Looks like Na'Vi are perhaps waiting for the next Knight. At least that could be what they're doing. They've got brilliant farm on that Night Stalker, as well as the Furion. Well, the Prophet has a Hand of Midas. We'll be getting him a lot of farm. And do we even need to mention Dro Ranger? I guess, yeah, I was about to say, bring up the gold scores. And there you go, 5k advantage at the 16-minute mark for Na'Vi. And the CS on the Dro Ranger, 80 at 16. The highest next to that is actually Dendi, who's sitting on 79. So Na'Vi, the 2 top scores, and then 2 times 63 comes follows that on the next side. So a big farming lead for Na'Vi, and they're going to try to, being the Dire, they've also got the advantage of the Roshan pit map-wise, and they're probably going to go for that soon, and actually they are. So there you go.
That they do, and it's Avorst going solo. Avorst is taking Roshan completely solo right now. Frost
with the help of an Ogre Magi.
Oh, that's true. That is true. That's the helm of the Dominator. In the meantime, though, Light of Heaven trying to run away with Dendi from that bottom lane. Was being slowed down there by Chen, but it's that first, like, he actually goes helm first and then grabs the Yasha while he's actually doing Dro Ranger. It's the second time I've seen this from Havorst when he's played the Dro Ranger, and I'm wondering if this is like a plan. At that point, I go Roshan no matter what happens. Gives us an early Roshan. Even with Prophet, like Prophet could have made that a lot easier for them, but they just want to use one hero and just dedicate one hero to Roshan. Makes it very hard to predict it's happening.
Exactly. There's 2 things to that. One of them is just what you said. It's hard to actually realize it's happening when you see 4 heroes on the map. You would never consider Roshan actually being taken. And the other thing is, well, Prophet, if he's not busy doing Roshan, he's busy doing something else, which is pushing or farming. So the fact that they can actually let go with only dedicating 1 hero to it is going to give them more pushing power on the lanes meanwhile. And you just see, when you look at the map right now, wards, Na'Vi pushing all across the river. And NextKz are already limited. They've got like, well, about a third of the map is in their command, while Na'Vi have 2/3. So actually, yeah, it's a really good situation for Na'Vi, but still 2-2 the score. We want more kills.
Yeah, it's next to nothing. It's just become this battle of pressure, and Light of Heaven's actually putting a crap load of it on top lane at the moment. It's a big army of trees. Half of those are going to die in just a moment, but it does force the TP back. Puppey's hanging around the mid. They do actually spot him for just a moment. And it's Chen's army, as well as Chen himself, heading down towards that bottom lane and going for the counter warding. So he wants to get rid of this vision. And obviously realizes it's actually there, and he's having a little bit of help. And the 2 wards where they will actually fade away to death in just a moment.
Invisibility.
But it is Chen that gets rid of him. Fisher now goes on mid lane. Miranda might be able to actually pop off a pretty decent arrow right now. Nice and close by, but we do hit the night time at the same time, and then extends it. They weren't expecting to see him. One sentry ward. Arsart realized, I think he was being blocked, or he walked straight into it. No, it was actually Lion dropping it. So Arsart realized, because Miranda, they bumped each other, and instantly Lion threw down the sentry.
Yeah, nice. No, actually, I think the sentry was already there, and Arsart just waited. He let the Priestess of the Moon think that he wasn't spotted yet. So just the Mirana is going to run through. He knows he has Lion on the backhand, so the longer he baits the Mirana, the more probable the kill is, because Lion is going to come in.
Arsart's in trouble. Arsart's in trouble. He's locked. It's actually a bad chain stun there. The Dark Troll Warlord need to chain that after Rasta actually got his in there, and Puppy is hanging around to actually let off one impale. In the meantime, Doombringer actually goes down to Prophet on the bottom lane. Looks like he had help there by Dendi. It's a mistiming there on the chaining of stuns. They could have actually got them a kill there on Night Stalker, even with Puppy there.
Yeah, but they've got to use so much effort on him. He's sitting on 1,850 hit points on that Balanar. Obviously very hard to take down.
In the middle, arrow will fly, but it's Night Stalker silencing up the Earthshaker, who will want to pop of his ultimate. Lion actually lands down the stun. ES with the first stun, needs to land the fissure, lands the fissure. Puppy still there, Starfall goes, Night Stalker, so hard to kill during the night, hence he's called Night Stalker, running away. And he should be able to easily get away. That extra movement speed means nobody on the NextKz side actually have enough speed to catch him. And even then, I think he's actually thinking about killing somebody else off at this point. Now he's going to come straight back and go in for Mirana. Mirana's here. Silence. Fear him. Void him. Fear. Oh, actually, there's actually again the chain stun. The fidget came after. Prophet lands down a Sprout, hoping to actually grab somebody else out. He just grabs a Wilkin in the end. Night Stalker's coming straight back into the NextKz side. Light of Heaven is here to actually help him this time, but the Chen heal goes off. We'll give them enough, but Prophet Ultimate takes away most of that heal. Light of Heaven is currently a chicken, and he's actually a fisher's chicken. 4 staffs away, but it's not enough. Mirana gets one last hit in. Lion is here in the mix. He was the one that actually turned him into a chicken, but then he gets held up. It's the shackles holding him in place. A lot of damage being done by that. Lion goes down. 2 down for Na'Vi. Arsart's in way too far in over his head. He is currently running. Doombringer wants to catch up for a level death. They will not, but the fissure! Oh, but even look at that distance. There's a circle of death. That's where the fissure ends. He got hit by a pebble on his Achilles heel, man.
Oh yeah, you gotta say that is... You can't hit it less than that while still hitting it.
Oh,
that made sense? I guess it did.
It made sense to me. It also makes sense that there's actually... I think that's a quad pull. It's a quad pull for Havorst.
He's already got the gold for the Manta Star, man. This is looking really, really good for Na'Vi and really bad for NextKz. They picked up 3 kills there to even it from 4 to 2 to 5 to 4, but Havorst hasn't even been in the game yet. The moment he steps in with that Manta Star as well as Helm of the Dominator, I'm not sure if NextKz are ready for that.
I don't think they can stop that damage, and that was one thing which we did see from Na'Vi last time they played it. Even though they lost their last game when they played Dro Ranger, it was one thing they could do. They just sat at the back, and it was just basically attack with Dro Ranger, while everybody else stunned them and held them in place. Dro Ranger was the damage dealer, and it was just such a great positional play, which is what we kind of expect to actually come out from Na'Vi. But Havorst getting this much farm, and he actually skips getting the Manta and goes straight BKB.
Yeah, that is the other option he has, of course, and will probably be a wise choice as well. Playing against Earthshaker as well as Shadow Shaman with tons of disable, having that BKB is brilliant. Of course, what he needs to consider is once the Doom is on him, if Doom uses his ultimate on the Dro Ranger, it's going to lock the inventory. I'm not sure if that's actually correctly coded in Dota 2 yet. I think it is, so that your items don't work at all.
Wait a second here, Sim, because the force is going towards the mid. They get the stun on him. He can't pop off his BKB just yet. The wards go down, but the shackle is there. Havorst is still dying. Now the BKB pops off. He wants to actually stop the Rasta. Rasta also with the BKB. Havorst is just tanking those Serpent wards, but while he's doing so, they take out 3. Did I mention the Aegis of the Immortal? I don't think I did, because they've already got those kills. Standing with a 4-star. Beautiful there to actually catch up to Mirana. Stun goes through, and it is a team wipe. That answers your question of what happens when Havorst joins the battle.
Yeah, just... you're in a terrible dilemma there as the Radiant. They hit a good arrow, they're ready to take down Hvost, but the reason he actually goes in and tanks that and lets them do whatever they want is that he has that Aegis of the Immortal on him. And if they try to run, they're going to be overrun by Balinar as well as Prophet TPing in, and then Drow Ranger can follow through with Frost Arrows, Shackle Shot, and Force Staff on the Windrunner. You can't escape from these boys once you've entered the battle. And it was just, I think it was a battle lost right from the start simply because of the farm on Hvost. It was almost hopeless to actually pull off that fight. They need a better condition like fighting inside the base, but that's just too late now because it's lost.
Shaker, he gets an ultimate, but he loses his life instantly. Hvost is just sitting on the side going do. Now he's actually going to get another one. Yep. Prophet actually taking that one with the ultimate. Lucky held in place. Windrunner gets that one. Everybody sharing on the Na'Vi side. They've already taken the melee barracks. Then he's pretty low on life. He's always got that Force Staff. Not to mention, well, there we go. Level Death brings him to 19 HP. Doombringer wants a kill, and he's currently stunned. He is actually currently silenced as well. And Force turns into a chicken, but it's a chicken with one hell of a bite. Night Stalker bringing down Doombringer. Windrunner gets Mirana, and Shadow Shaman is running away from the Night Stalker, but this will be a double kill for Windrunner, however. Dendy is just like, I want that power shot is the way I do it, man. Like a boss. Obviously not ex-boss, actually.
Damn it.
I tried to actually not prep as well as do that, but it happened in the end. Fidget goes out. Light of Heaven's actually going to go down. That was actually not a bad play there by Earthshaker. Realizing the tower was actually hitting on Light of Heaven. Light of Heaven instantly biased back and TP's back in, but yeah, that was a pretty nice Fidget using the tower. Gets himself a kill, but melee barracks is gone. Top barracks is gone. Doom and Moran's about to come back up again, but NextKz get double raxed.
Yeah, Na'Vi completely demolishing this the moment the Drow Ranger comes back into play. The fact that they've been able to play pretty tied with NextKz with the 4 of the heroes only kind of speaks for itself. Amazing ganking potential and fighting potential with the Lion, the Windrunner, the Night Stalker, as well as the Prophet, just being there, taking the fights. Well, the few fights that actually happened while Drow Ranger completely free farming, he joins up with tons of items that NextKz have absolutely no response to, and then it just ends. Drow Ranger is just one of those carries that you can't just leave completely alone without getting something really, really good in trade. And NextKz, they just didn't get that trade.
Well, they did now. They just lose that tier 2 tower on bottom lane too. And that's a Manta-style dump for Drow Ranger, and she still has 2,400 gold. Currently just waiting for Roshan to respawn so he can do it all over again. I think that's all Na'Vi going to wait for. One Roshan, push through the bottom, and then just GG this. And Prophet is actually at 27 minutes too, afforded a Decisive Vice.
Warriors of the wood.
So we got Sheep Stick on him, or Pig Stick, however we want to actually call it. And Windrunner's almost there too. Windrunner is actually only, what's that, 100 gold? 150, 175 gold away from completing up Sheep Stick as well. So that's double Sheep Stick already for this Na'Vi lineup.
Yeah, you just get filthy rich after taking the base like that, and I think it would be very educational actually to show the gold difference now so you can actually see how much it means that you take down those sides and have a lead of only about 10 kills. It's not a huge kill advantage when you look at the total farm and at what has happened. There you go, 25k down the pockets of Na'Vi. And yeah, now they're going to get Roshan again, so that's going to be another, yeah, more than 1,000 as well. They're just, it's rough, man. It's really rough.
Yeah, you've really got to feel sorry for NextKz right now. But it all comes down to letting Hvost have farm. But that always happens when you play up against Na'Vi. And the reason why it keeps happening is, one, he's a great farmer. Like, he's great for last hitting and knows how to do it and knows when to actually run back and try and die at least. He's only died once, and that was pretty early on in the piece. But it always comes down to the rest of Na'Vi as well. If they can be aggressive, if they can push down other lanes, so easy to do with Prophet. Splits the attention of the opposition, and when that kind of stuff happens, well, that's when Hvost is just left alone, because you always find yourself pulling 4, sometimes even 5 heroes to try and stop 4 Na'Vi heroes. And you're right before, like when they lost those 3 heroes on the bottom lane, and down in the Radiant Neutrals, it happens, but it's also a distraction, it buys them time, and it goes to those big carry heroes. Smoke and mirrors, man, smoke and mirrors.
One thing like you point out, the Prophet is just so important to Na'Vi, and that's kind of surprising to me that they didn't pick that during the first phase. Their first 2 picks were actually Night Stalker and Windrunner. So I wonder if we're seeing a little bit of a different Na'Vi strategy-wise than what we saw at the International. During the International, Na'Vi would have definitely picked the Prophet in the first phase. They got their hands on that whenever they could.
Initiated on Doombringer, lands it down. They might even get themselves a couple of kills right now. Avors pops up the BKB, but he still has the Agassi model. Doombringer losing life very, very fast. Avors, that guy is a beast. As I said, I trust him to handle my Dro Ranger, and he's doing so perfectly. There goes the Earthshaker. Prophet gets the last hit in that one. Lion uses his finger, takes care of Shadow Shaman. That was actually a great initiation by NextKz, but they just couldn't carry it through. And now we're going to see Na'Vi basically just rape NextKz inside their own base.
Yeah, the difference is simply too big now. It's too late, and Na'Vi can safely enter that fight like they do with the Aegis, with the high gold advantage and level advantage. It's just next to impossible for Next. And again, another no pun intended. Now I made one as well. But yeah, there was just nothing to do at this point. Na'Vi have completely rolled over them in this game by pushing them so nicely early on, completely destroyed NextKz's strategy, and eventually just push it through with Dro Ranger. So very well played by Na'Vi, and I think, yeah, this if they keep on playing like this and like this strategy-wise, and if they get these heroes, they're going to be very dangerous. But I don't think they are going to get them. That's the thing. This is like the exception that you give Na'Vi Prophet as well as Night Stalker.
Yeah, because now we find ourselves sitting at the position that our Na'Vi will have to fight actually Doombringer. Holy crap. Life? What life? I didn't see HP. Maybe you do need HP points because you need the extra points to try and live through this. It's a triple kill. He's going to go for a little bit more. He's even going to pick up the courier if he sticks around. He actually comes too close to the tower. And Aegis the Immortal just pops off in the end. It's a GG call. But the position we now find ourselves in is Na'Vi are going to go up against Orange next. That'll be on the main stage at ESWC. We will be casting that from here. We're also going to see if we can actually patch into the camera on the main stage of ESWC so we can show you all of this. But yeah, Na'Vi will go up against Orange. Orange currently will now be in third position. They'll still be tied with NextKz, but the problem for NextKz is they go up against BX3. So we could actually have another three-way tie on our hands here, Sind.
Yeah, and if we do get a three-way tie in the group, we will of course be
time rating
faced with the time rating. Yeah, in the previous group of yesterday, there was a lot of people were not sure at all who actually passed through that group because the way it ended in the official ESWC rankings on the page, it said, of course, there was Monkey Business on top. They hadn't lost a game. Then there was 3-2 for M5 and 3-2 for eHome, who were listed below M5. So people thought M5 had actually progressed. They had not, however, of course, because eHome won the battle between eHome and M5, and that's what counts the first. But then again, if you have a three-way tie in which the teams beat each other, then we're all down to the time rule, and then what actually matters is how slowly you lost and how quickly you won. And that's why the teams always play the games till the end, rather than just forfeiting them. In this game, you could see, I mean, NextKz, they could have forfeited when they lost 2 sides. It was next to impossible to return in that one. Yeah. But every second might count in the end if they get the three-way tie.
Yeah, it might do. It might do. So we will find out about that in just a moment. So stick around.